Hello and welcome to today's Twinkl Live. Today we are covering Key Stage 2 History, so covering all the key elements that form history education, like significant historical events and local history, for all things. If your child is new to Key Stage 2, they might have started Year 3, or if they're returning to Key Stage 2 in Year 4 or even Year 5 and Year 6. So it's all relevant to learning that your child will do in Key Stage 2 History. So if you're thinking that your child is a bit of a budding historian and that you would like to work on some skills that make good historians, like developing their critical thinking, it means being curious and using logic to ask questions and form making reasons, judgments and decisions, you can have a look at some of the activity ideas that I mentioned today to develop their communication skills. So that's being able to explain and inform in different ways, like speaking or writing. Your child will also need to be strong in reading and good at reading comprehension, in particular for finding and retrieving relevant historical information and evidence from a range of sources. So all in all, to be a good historian, there's lots of skills that your child would already be working on in Key Stage 1 and already be working on at home to be a good historian. So it's just picking those key skills by doing some activities that might interest your child. So you might be thinking where to start. Where to start, you might like to have a little research with your child on whatever your child is interested in history. They might be interested in things that have stemmed from previous learning. They might be interested in history because in a certain topic of history because they're learning about it at school. Whatever they are interested in, we have lots of information and resources and fact files on our website on the Twinkl Parents Hub, from things like animals in the Second World War to significant people like Tom Daly or Rosalind Franklin. Lots of significant people that you can have a little look on our Twinkl Parents Hub, have a little search of who your child is interested in, see what comes up, and have a look online as well. And when researching with your child, I would recommend practicing their skimming and scanning skills. So that is looking for specific words, and you could perhaps do this in a word search. So perhaps using a word search from our Vikings booklet that I will mention later on, you could have a little go at researching and looking for a particular word. So they might be learning like about the Vikings, and you might pick out certain words from the Vikings topic that's in the Vikings word search and ask them to skim and scan. They might be able to tell you what skimming and scanning is, or that you might like to explain to them that that is picking out a relevant word by having a quick scan over and seeing if you can find the word. We also have a really useful history guide for parents that you could use for inspiration of topics if you're a little bit stuck on what to look for and what topics to have a go at doing at home in history. So it highlights all of the topics. A topic that comes up a lot in Year 3, Year 4 history is the Stone Age, and there's lots of activities that you can do at home to have a look into the Stone Age. So you could research Stonehenge, and when you're researching Stonehenge, you could perhaps have a go at making a biscuit henge. I had a go at constructing a biscuit henge here. So all I did is I stuck a shortbread biscuit in the middle, and I used custard creams and shortbreads to construct the semicircle. Biscuit Stonehenge resource also has a really useful guide and information on the specific key terms in relation to Stonehenge. So perhaps you could talk to your child about that and ask them what each biscuit represents. I found that one in the middle, which was representing the altar, was kept falling over. So perhaps you could even then talk about the structure of a biscuit to your child and why is it falling over. And I compared some different biscuits and had a look which one would be better. to be the altar. So you could talk about that with your child, and then you could talk about why there's a semicircle in the middle. I realised after I constructed it that the size of my board made it really tricky to get a semicircle. So what adaptations did I make? You could even break up some biscuits and put them on as stones on the floor. You might have a green board. So there's lots of ways you can adapt this activity. And I've just got a little clip of my biscuit henge after it was finished. I used icing to stick it together. So you could even ask your child to follow the instructions on our resource, which has been popped in the comments, to then create their biscuit henge. If your child is interested in the Vikings, or they learn about the Vikings, they might have like to have a little go at some of the Vikings activities, which is in the activity booklet, which has been put in the comments. One of the activities that was in the activity booklet I'm just sharing with you now is to plan a Viking booklet. So let me just, there we go, plan a Viking banquet. So there are many different foods that Vikings would have eaten, like sheep, fish, chicken, vegetables, and you could perhaps ask your child to plan out a Viking banquet, either on the resource if you can print it out, or verbally, and perhaps even if you know that you can find the foods, perhaps you could even have a go at making it with your child and following instructions. Perhaps ask them to give instructions on how to make a Viking banquet as well. So there's lots of different Viking activities that you could do with your child to have a look into the Vikings. So the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons is explored widely. There's lots of other games like fact or fiction cards, which is in that resource, that your child can learn all about Viking treasures by using their math skills. There's shopping activities. There's lots for lots of different children and their needs. You could also explore local history. So in Key Stage 2, local history will be looked at. So looking at an aspect of history or a landmark, a site, or historical interests that are relevant to your local area and the area that your child lives in could be a good activity to do. So local history may be explored further by thinking about how the Second World War might have affected your local area, and then the animal resource that I mentioned earlier might tie into that. How the Victorian era might have impacted your local area, and what common themes and events like the Battle of Britain, the Industrial Revolution, and even the 20th century, how would that have impacted your local area? So you can really research into your local area on a device. You could visit a library, you can go out and about and look at certain landmarks if you've got them. And there's lots of documents that will be in the library, like newspapers or even census records, that you could explore with your child to really let your child dive into all things that would have happened in the past in your local area. So there's lots of things that you can look at over a wide scale as well. So if you did want to have a look into your local area, you can have a look and go as far back as what has been recorded. You might even want to look into the Roman Empire. You could make things that would have been around in the Roman Empire, make armour, talk about the rise and fall of Roman gods, key facts or the building of Rome, and look into the geography links as well. So like the achievements of the earliest civilization, if you're looking at ancient Egypt or ancient China, you can make those geography links as well, get a map up and explore where it is in the world and what civilizations would have happened. So there's lots of information to help you with this in our parents guide for Key Stage 2 history as well, which highlights all of the topics that can be covered in Key Stage 2 history. So I hope you've enjoyed our live on Key Stage 2 history and you enjoy making the biscuit henge if you do that. And any comments, ask away in the comment section. And if you want to join me on Friday, I will be doing a live on Read a Book Day for Key Stage 2 children. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then.